welcome to Express News, in which we take you through the top 100 news stories of the day. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. Let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held an emergency meeting with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar at the Delhi airport immediately upon his arrival from Saudi Arabia, as he took stock of the situation following the terror attack in Pahalgam that claimed 26 lives. India's Home Minister Amit Shah inspected the site of the terror attack in Pahalgam. The minister reviewed the security situation at Baisaran Valley, which is located around 5 kilometers from Jammu and Kashmir's resort town of Pahalgam. Amit Shah reached the Baisaran Meadow, the terror attack site in Pahalgam, on Wednesday morning. Earlier in the day, Amit Shah paid homage to the victims while laying a wreath at a poignant ceremony in Srinagar. The Home Minister and the J&K LG Manoj Sinha also met with the family members of the Pahalgam terror victims. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh chaired a meeting with the chiefs of the three armed forces in view of the Pahalgam terror attack. India's Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu spoke to Home Minister Amit Shah and held an urgent meeting with all airline operators and issued a strong advisory against surge pricing. The Aviation Minister also announced that in addition to the 4 special flights from Srinagar, 2 of Delhi and 2 of Mumbai, 3 more flights to Delhi have been added for Wednesday. All airlines operating from Srinagar have waived off cancellation and rescheduling charges to support passengers, and food and water are being provided at the airport. Security agencies have released sketches of 3 of the terrorists involved in Monday's heinous attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam that left 26 tourists dead. At least 26 people were killed after gunmen opened fire on tourists from several states visiting the Baisaran Valley in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam on Tuesday. The Resistance Front, TRF, a front of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the banned Pakistan-based terror group, claimed responsibility. Indian Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi paid respect to the terror victims by laying wreath at the mortal remains of Lieutenant Vinay Narwal. He was killed in the Pahalgam terror attack on Tuesday. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah bemoaned the terror attack. He said it was heartbreaking to see the exodus of tourists from the valley following the gruesome terror attack. World leaders, US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dasanaike and Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli condemned the terrorist attack and expressed solidarity with the nation. Other leaders, including EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen, Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese also condemned J&K's terror attack. The front pages of Kashmir's leading newspapers in English and Urdu went black on Wednesday, a stark visual protest against the brutal terrorist attack in Pahalgam. Kashmir Valley observed a complete shutdown over the brutal killings of tourists in the Pahalgam meadows for the first time in 35 years on Wednesday. The locals have shut down shops in protest. Protesters held black flags at the historic Lal Chowk in Srinagar, symbolic of the Black Day that befell the valley on Tuesday. The Chamber of Commerce and Industries of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir Hoteliers Club, all travel associations, transporters, restaurant owners and civil society groups in the Union Territory of J&K jointly called for shutdown. Security across the Kashmir Valley has been increased manifold after the attack. The joint combing operation by the Army, CRPF and J&K police is underway in the region. A team of the National Investigation Agency reached the Pahalgam terrorist attack site on Wednesday and will assist the J&K police with the investigation. The Indian Army has foiled a major infiltration bid in the Baramulla region of J&K and 2 terrorists have been eliminated. Large quantities of weapons, ammunition and other warlike stores have been recovered. Indian Army said that the operation is still underway. Vice President of the United States J.D. Vance, Second Lady Usha Vance and their children arrived in Agra on Wednesday and were received by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Vice President of the United States J.D. Vance, who was on a 4-day visit to India, visited the Taj Mahal in Agra on Wednesday along with Second Lady Usha Vance and their children. Indian indices gained momentum on Wednesday. At close, the Sensex jumped 463 points at 80,059, while Nifty closed at 24,306. Indian rupee ended 22 paise lower at 85.42 per dollar on Wednesday. Gold futures maturing on June 5 were priced at 95,696 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for May 5 maturity stood at 96,126 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. The price of Brent crude oil experienced a slight increase on Wednesday and traded at $68.34 per barrel. The International Monetary Fund on Tuesday slashed its growth forecast for the United States, China, and most countries, citing the impact of US tariffs now at 100-year highs. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday backed off from threats to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell after days of intensifying criticism of the central bank chief for not cutting interest rates. Donald Trump said that high tariffs on goods from China will come down substantially, but it won't be zero. 2 United States judges on Tuesday extended temporary blocks on some deportations of Venezuelan migrants and signaled that President Donald Trump's invocation of a 1798 law may not survive judicial review. The White House brushed off criticism by more than 200 university and college presidents in a joint statement that accused US President Donald Trump's administration of political interference in higher education. US President Donald Trump will be on a tri-national visit to the Middle East. Trump will travel to Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates from May 13 until the 16th of May. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said on Tuesday that he will cut back his role in the Trump administration as the company's latest profits and revenues showed a plunge during the beginning of the year. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered President Donald Trump's administration to restore funding to Voice of America and other US-funded media. Ukraine peace talks involving international foreign ministers scheduled to take place in London on Wednesday have been postponed, but a meeting of lower-level officials will still take place. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pushes back against calls for Ukraine to recognize Russia's control of Crimea. Russian drone targeted Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, killing at least 9 people and targeting civilian infrastructure in east, south and central Ukraine. In another strike, a Russian drone injured at least 2 civilians in Odessa while damaging civilian infrastructure and businesses in the Poltava region on Wednesday. A massive blaze destroyed hundreds of homes in Philippines' Manila early morning on Wednesday, leaving hundreds of residents without homes. Emmanuel Macron and his wife were welcomed in Madagascar officials as the French president visited the island country. President of Chile, Gabriel Boric, held a meeting with President of Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, emphasizing support for multilateralism in a world challenged by the US tariff war, refusing to choose between commercial partners. Ghana's President John Mahama has initiated a fresh bid to woo back Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger to the West African bloc ECOWAS after the junta-led countries quit earlier this year. As peace talks between the Congolese government and M23 rebels in Doha drag on, a sense of insecurity is growing in DR Congo's city of Bukavu, currently under the control of the M23 armed group. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele responded on Tuesday to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's refusal of a prisoner exchange and reiterated his proposal to release 252 Venezuelan prisoners in El Salvador for the same number of prisoners in Venezuelan territory. Ahead of elections in Australia, during a campaign, opposition leader Peter Dutton pledged to increase Australia's defence spending by $21 billion by 2030, raising it from 2% to 2.5% of GDP. The coffin carrying the body of Pope Francis was taken in procession on Wednesday to St. Peter's Basilica and will be on display till the 25th of April. Funeral of Pope Francis will be held on the 26th of April. We're heading into a short break here on DD India. We'll be back with Express News. Stay tuned.
We are diving into a transformation story unlike any other. India's ambitious rise as self-reliant global military power. And it's not just ambition, it's action. From warships to weapons systems, startups to strategic doctrines, India is rebuilding its defense architecture. And how it is doing so, to know that, tune into Defense Dynamics on DD India on Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News. Heavy rain, thunderstorms and hail struck central China's Hunan province, causing flooding and damaging over 200 houses. No casualties have been reported. Due to wildfires, Ocean County authorities in New Jersey have ordered mandatory evacuations for thousands, with major highways shut down. Eyewitness footage showed smoke billowing from a massive wildfire in eastern New Jersey that has already spread over 3,200 acres. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupted, spewing fountains of lava in its 18th eruption since December 23 last year. According to the US Geological Survey, the eruption ended on Tuesday, but Kilauea remains at an orange alert level. Italy's Mount Etna lit up the night sky with bursts of strombolian activity as red-hot lava spilled from Europe's most active volcano, sending ash into the sky. Costa Rica's volcano Poas erupted, ejecting a column of ash and smoke over 3 kilometers high. Situated amidst dense forests, the volcano has been on an orange alert since March. A 4.6 magnitude earthquake shook Australia's New South Wales Hunter region, with tremors felt as far as Canberra. Saudi Arabia's Taif, known as the City of Roses for producing 300 million fragrant blooms annually, faces increasing threats from erratic weather patterns. An earthquake with a magnitude of 4.3 on the Richter scale hit India's western state of Gujarat and there in Kutch particularly. As per the National Centre for Seismology, the earthquake struck at a depth of 20 kilometers. Mourners gathered at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Arabia in Manama, the Gulf's largest Catholic cathedral, to honor the life of Pope Francis. Catholics in Bangkok attended a mass at Assumption Cathedral to mark the passing of Pope Francis. Several people paid respects to the late Pope Francis by visiting his statue at St. Louis Hospital, displayed since his 2019 papal visit. Rome's iconic Colosseum, usually illuminated at night, remained dark as a tribute to Pope Francis. In Delhi, hundreds of East Timorese Catholics gathered at the Lady Mary statue to mourn and pray for Pope Francis. Religious leaders and Argentine officials held an interfaith prayer at the Buenos Aires Metropolitan Cathedral to honor Pope Francis. Scientists are raising concerns over the decline of mole crabs on Brazilian beaches, citing human activity and environmental change. France was the guest of honor at Morocco's 17th International Agriculture Exhibition, highlighting agriculture and water and sustainable rural development. Nepal's first nationwide snow leopard survey estimates nearly 400 of the elusive cats in the Himalayan region. The animals were tracked using motion sensor cameras and genetic analysis across 7 key areas. The Hong Kong Jockey Club Charities Trust is allocating over $400 million to provide free music and sports programs for students in low-income areas. The 4th edition of Rally Jameel, the first women-only navigational rally in the Middle East, launched in the ancient city of Petra. 70 teams from 37 countries and 25 motorsport federations are competing in the 1500 kilometers rally from Jordan to Saudi Arabia. Children across Turkey and abroad celebrated April 23rd, a public holiday marking the Turkish Grand National Assembly's founding and children's well-being. Chaundha Valley in northern Pakistan turned pink with apricot and cherry blossoms, creating a striking contrast with snow-covered fields. American actress Demi Moore has been named People magazine's most beautiful person. The issue hits newsstands on the 25th of April. Fans of Netflix's You, starring Penn Badgley, can celebrate the show's final season at Mooney's bookstore pop-up event in New York City on Wednesday. Hollywood actress Sydney Sweeney is set to produce a movie adaptation of Sega's 1986 arcade driving adventure video game Outrun. Prime Video has released first-look images of We Were Liars adapted from E. Lockhart's best-selling novel. It will premiere on 18th June 2025. American media personality Khloe Kardashian teams up with Hulu to announce a new reality spin-off show, Calabasas Behind the Gates. The cast of Thunderbolts, a Marvel Comics-based film, walked the red carpet in Leicester Square on Tuesday for the London premiere. Its global cinematic rollout begins on 30th April. I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel's trailer has been released after a month of its reveal at CinemaCon. It is set to hit the theatres on the 18th of July. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, based on the globally popular Sonic video game series, is set to have its premiere on Prime Video in India on 24th April. Trailer of The Royals, featuring Bollywood actors Zeenat Aman, Bhumi Pednekar and more, has been released. The film will be out on Netflix on 9th May. April 23 marks the death anniversary of the veteran Indian director Satyajit Ray. His methods of direction are still widely adapted by both Bollywood and Hollywood directors. KL Rahul smashed a half-century and guided Delhi Capitals to an 8-wicket victory over his former franchisee Lucknow Super Giants in the IPL clash on Tuesday. Lucknow Super Giants batter Michelle Marsh completed 1,000 IPL runs with his explosive 45-run knock against Delhi Capitals. KL Rahul surpassed stalwarts David Warner, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to become the fastest to reach 5,000 runs in the IPL. Sunrisers Hyderabad will look for turnaround against in-form Mumbai Indians in the 41st match of the Indian Premier League. Former Australian Test opener Michael Slater received a suspended 4-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to a raft of domestic violence charge. Former Australia batter Keith Stackpole, who played in 43 tests and scored 7 centuries, has passed away at the age of 84. Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti has revealed that striker Kylian Mbappe will return from injury to face rivals Barcelona in Copa del Rey final on Saturday. Manchester City secured a crucial 2-1 Premier League victory over Aston Villa on Tuesday. Barcelona inched closer to the La Liga title with a 1-0 win over Mallorca. Cristiano Ronaldo's El Nasser AFC Champions League glory on home soil as the final knockout stages begin on Friday. Former world number 1 Naomi Osaka suffered first-round elimination from the Madrid Open after losing to Lucia Bronzetti. Meanwhile, Alexandra Ayala defeated Victoria Tomova. She will take on second seed Iga Swiatek in the next round. Former tennis world number 1 Andre Agassi will make his pickleball debut at the US Open Pickleball Championships next week. Pole vaulter Dev Meena breaks men's pole vault national record after winning gold at the Federation Cup 2025. And Olympian Jyoti Yaraji bagged the gold medal in the women's 100-meter hurdles event at the National Federation Senior Athletics competition in Kerala. That's it in Express News with me. Thanks for watching.